Not so long ago, in the mysterious land of Toronto, Canada.
Oh, you fell, dude. Kid's falling.
I know you gonna dig this.
What's going on, everybody? How you doing today? So here I am in Toronto, my hometown. And did you know that in Toronto, they make movies?
They make movies in Toronto?
Yeah, they do. And Toronto always stands in for other cities. New York, Chicago, Pittsburgh. It stands in for every other city. Stop. Stands in for so many cities. But in a certain movie called Scott Pilgrim versus the World, Toronto plays itself. A giant Hollywood movie set in Toronto. That's rare. Now, if you haven't seen Scott Pilgrim versus the World, it's based on the comics, comic books, graphic novels by Bryan Lee O'Malley, who was born in London, then moved to Toronto, and set his graphic novels, in Toronto. So when Edgar Wright, the director, made the movie, he said, well, we got to shoot in Toronto. He moved to Toronto just to get the locations exactly right. So this video, I'm going to show you some of the locations from Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, a lot of them. And I'm going to show you probably not in order. If you haven't seen Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, let me just give you a little brief synopsis of it. He's a slacker, 20-something, plays bass and a guitar in a band called Sex Bob Om. And then he has to fight. He falls in love with a girl named Ramona. He's dating a young girl that goes to high school. But he falls in love with an older girl named Ramona from New York City. He has to fight her 7 exes so that he can have her. It's a crazy movie. It's amazing. I love it. Now, they filmed it in March of 2009 till August of 2009. So the snow you see in the film, a lot of it was recreated. I'm assuming the bigger scenes with a lot of the snow everywhere, that was either digitally put in or that could have been shot in March. But they shot through the summer and the film takes place in the winter. And let me tell you, it's summer right now in Toronto and it gets hot. Right here in front of me, this was Scott Pilgrim's house. It's just a garage, but this was his house right here. That doorway right there, which is just a tiny garage, that's where he took his girlfriend Knives right at the beginning, well, sort of the beginning, first 9 minutes or so of the film. And he says she can't go in. It's a secret lair. He goes, but do you want to see where I grew up? And she says, yes. And they turn around and his house that he grew up in is right here. But no, it's not. It was digitally put in. That's another house. And I don't know where that house is. I looked all around these streets. Couldn't find it. Kind of just said, okay, well, you know what? It's probably around here somewhere. Maybe I'll see it on my way. Something I didn't look up beforehand. I should have. But right here, this was Scott Pilgrim's secret lair. So they used so many locations in Toronto. There's far too many. I'm gonna show you how they use them too, because they use these locations in a way that is not usually done. They took green screen and recreated a lot of the street scenes and alleyways in the Cinesphere and Pinewood Studios here in Toronto. And because there's so many stunts, they couldn't do them on the street. They had to do them in a studio. So they shot a lot of scenes that look like they're on the street, but they're actually inside a studio. Very, very cool how they did this movie. If you haven't seen it, hey, you're from Florida, quiet. Where are you from? Ontario. Even more quiet. You're Canadian, sorry. All right. I'm gonna tell you how it's done. A lot of these scenes. It's really, really cool. Now, it's a lot of driving for me, none for you. Let's go. Don't tell me what to do. And like I mentioned, Scott was dating a high school girl, Knives, and this was her school. And he met her out right outside here. And it's an all-boys school. What? That's right. She went to an all-boys school, but in the movie, I think it was co-ed. Now, like I said, I'm going out of order for this, right? Like, I'm kind of showing you Toronto and the movie. So many different locations in Toronto, all over the place, but really concentrate, well, the downtown area, but the annex. There's so many different names for parts of Toronto now that I don't even know. Like, they're calling West Queen Street West. I know the annex, of course. Canary District, all these places, I don't know. I just call them downtown. I'm old school. But right here, he has to fight all 7 exes. And one of the exes is Roxy, this girl. And that takes place, they actually filmed inside here and just right outside. Catch a quick glimpse of the outside of the building. And then inside is where they set up and had all those fight scenes. Right here. I know, I'm looking at it while I'm not showing you. Let's look at it. Right here, they're walking in and they filmed inside. This is Artscape Wychwood Barns. So it's like a community cultural center. But yeah, I don't think it's open right now. I'll try the door. But you can see it still matches up. Those 4 windows going and 4 windows there. The 2 doors on either side. The big door right there. This entrance right here is the one they used. So you can kind of see inside. But yeah, they set it all up here for that fight scene. Huh. Come along now. Swing your life away, guys. You know. Oh, you fell, dude. Kids falling. Also in the film, when Scott is pondering how he screwed up so bad with Ramona at one point. You gotta watch the movie and it all makes sense. But if you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. He's standing beside a fence, well, a stone wall, and thunks his head right up against the pool that is no longer here. But it would have been right about there. That's where that was shot. Right there. Pole is gone. How often have we said that to someone?
What?
And as I'm wandering around the streets of Toronto to show you these locations, I never give up. And I was on the look because I can kind of find these locations, especially if they're in my own city. I know areas and I know where certain things are going to be. And here's Scott Pilgrim's parents' house. I guess it would have been in the film. It says where he grew up. So this is not in front of his house. So it wasn't green screen. They would have been standing right here, looking at the house right here. Very cool. Here it is. Just happened to be driving around the streets looking for it. Found it. So they would have been pretending that it was here, Scott Pilgrim's house, but then they turned here and faced that house right there. And that was Scott Pilgrim's parents' house, or childhood home. That's a beautiful house right there. Pretty cool. Glad I found that. This is Bathurst, St. Clair area. Most of the Scott Pilgrim universe takes place in Bathurst, St. Clair, and Bloor, Bathurst, in the Queen West area, sort of, a little bit. And then they shot various parts in other places, but he's supposed to live around this area, Bathurst, St. Clair, in the graphic novels and in the movie. They kept it really true to life. And I'm going to show you a couple more locations in this area. And then we're going to Bloor and Bathurst. And if you're from Toronto, you've hung out at Bloor and Bathurst. And if you're from Toronto, guess what? You can have fun in Toronto.
Fun in Toronto.
Yeah, you can. And also, if you're from Toronto, you know this phrase, because this just happened to me.
I was stuck on the island.
I just was. Very annoying. Tree, out of my way. Fuck. So if you see these stairs, these are some pretty steep stairs. These are the stairs Ramona is waiting for Scott Pilgrim. There's kids behind me being really loud. Come on, kids. You're in a park. Be quiet. She's waiting for him. He says, I just thought you'd be too cool to be on time. But she was on time for their first date right here in this park. Now, I can't get the right angles. They had a crane, but they would have been swinging on these swings. Now, they're different now. They were only 3 people swings, but you do see that building far off in the distance. But again, I can't get up that high. But I can get high. But yeah, the swing sets were here. But in the film, I'm remembering that they were for 3 each one. That's a 4, that's a 6, it looks like. And a little pond here that you can see. You can see those tennis courts in the background. All shot in this park here, Hillcrest Park in Toronto, Bathurst and St. Clair. All right, let's keep going.
Thought we could go for a walk.
Tell me we didn't come out here in the cold so you could cover your hair with that hat.
No. I just love me some walking, you know, just putting one leg in front of the other like this.
All right, these are the famous Baldwin Steps here in Toronto. Right behind me, Ramona and Scott would have walked right up these steps. And Lucas Lee is shooting a movie here at Casa Loma. Now, I've already been inside, and now that I left it, I don't know if I can go back in. I'm still gonna show you where they shot it, but I don't know if I'm allowed back in to go into the exact part. That was really confusing. That was really stupid that I didn't film that part first. But I'm so excited to see these steps. We're right here, and he goes down the skateboard off that way into oblivion. So, up here in the parking lot, the upper parking lot of Casa Loma is where they would have shot all those scenes. I figured out by matching it up. Now, there's a lot more trees growing up now, and also, I guess they probably would have shot those scenes like March, April, so there wasn't as many trees on the branches back then because trees grow. I'm just learning this. But right here, oh, by the way, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World has probably my favorite line of any movie. Well, I've got a lot, but whatever. When he says he could eat garlic bread every day, and she said, well, you couldn't eat it every day because you get fat. And he goes, why do you say that? And she goes, well, bread gets you fat. Or bread makes you fat. And he says,
Bread makes you fat?
I love that line. I love it. I love the way he says it. I love everything about it. Look at this. Casa Loma right here. This is the angle they used, where he flings Scott off. Whacks him off up into the air. Right here, this angle. It's hard to see the little tiny turret there. You can see the big turret. It was all shot from this angle, so they used this parking lot. If you're ever in Toronto, by the way, you can have fun in Toronto.
Fun. In Toronto.
Yeah. Come to Casa Loma, spend the day, come to the top parking lot, and this is the angle they used for Scott Pilgrim versus the World, where he goes through the New York City skyline that they have set up for the fake movie. And in the background, when he gets flung through it, you see the CN Tower, which is down that way. See it? See it? No? All right, now on to Bathurst and Bloor. Probably, I would say, more the heart of the Scott Pilgrim universe. I don't know. I really like the movie because I like his name. Pilgrim. Let's go. That's right. If you're a fan of Scott Pilgrim vs. the World and you're not from Toronto, you probably think the name Pizza Pizza was made up. Nope. It's our biggest pizza chain. And Scott Pilgrim was allowed to shoot in a lot of real-life locations here in Toronto. Pizza Pizza, Second Cup. There's a certain drugstore that we have here that's all across the country, everywhere. They didn't allow it, so they had to use a fake one. If you're from Toronto or Canada, you know which drugstore I'm talking about. Which one you shop at. But here, this is the heart of Scott Pilgrim's universe, right here.
The next click you hear is me hanging up. The one after that is me pulling the trigger.
Both businesses are still here. Insomnia and the Green Beanery. I've been to Insomnia many times. Green Beanery? No. Coffee shop next to a coffee shop. Brilliant. Latte Larry's right next to Mocha Joe's. And here, you see a hot dog sign. That used to be the Bloor Cinema. That's not shown in the film. But, however, this Dollarama used to be Sonic Boom. So when they go shopping for records, this used to be a record store, and this is where it was. It was huge, just like this place is. This was called Sonic Boom. Now, there are 2 locations of Sonic Boom. They've moved in Toronto, so there's 2 new ones. But the original one that everybody went to was right here. And it was amazing. It's exactly what you see in Scott Pilgrim. You just go up and down the aisles trying to decide what to buy. And now you just go to a dollar store and you end up spending $20. Everything, so it's $1 plus. That's how they get you. That's always how they fucking get you. Across the street, that's Lee's Palace. And above it is Dance Cave. Now, Lee's Palace has live shows, Dance Cave is a club. And here, it's been shortened, it's not as big inside anymore, the Lee's Palace. So what they did was they painstakingly recreated it on a set. And the alleyways behind it where they have the fight, that was done somewhere else. And that was green screen. I'm gonna take you there and show you how they did that. So that's where Clash at Demon Head and Scott's band is supporting them. And that's where the bassist, he has the bass off, I believe, inside there. But it looks so real. They recreated the inside of Lee's Palace to make it look like it did back in the day on a set. That when bands that played there, because a lot of bands helped out with this film to make it look real and to make the actors look like they knew what they were doing playing the instruments. Chris Murphy from Sloan, that guy, he was like their guitar coach, I guess. Michael Cera already knew how to play bass. And then Brie Larson is actually singing her song in the film, but it's based. She kind of based her moves on the lead singer of the band, Metric. What the hell was I talking about? Oh yeah. So when the bands came to visit the set, they were like, "Wow!" They thought they were impressed because when I saw it, I thought they shot inside of it at the same time, but no, these palaces had been renovated by them. It's now a burrito or Bombay roti. It was a burrito place, I thought. Bombay roti inside. Here's the entrance to Lee's Palace here, though. Let's go across. Oh, that's good. Well, fuck it. It's Toronto. I'll walk where I want.
In Toronto.
There's a famous outdoor sign. Now, the sign's been changed, but still looks the exact same. I'm telling you, the amount of time I've spent in this building through the years, especially up at that club up top. Oh, my goodness. I'm having withdrawals. So they go into the back alley and have a fight, but that back alley is actually further down at Queen West. I'm going to show you where that is. And they didn't actually shoot in the alley, but they based it on the alley. It's very, very thing. I'm getting a lot of flashbacks being here. Wow. I feel like I'm back. I feel like I'm 17 again. Yeah, they based it, so we're going to go down there. I'm going to show you the alleyway. But first, I'm going to show you. Go inside that piece of pizza because across the street there was an iconic store here in Toronto. Everyone knows it. Honest Ed's. Honest Ed's a nut, but look at the cashew save. Get it? Cashew save. All those weird slogans all around the building. Phoenix Building is right here at the corner. I can't believe it's gone. It's really sad. It's an incredible, incredible building. Bargains galore. Famous Ed Mervish, Honest Ed's, and it's gone. All gone right here. And they shot inside that piece of pizza, and you can see Honest Ed's in the background. Sitting right about here, and you would have seen Honest Ed's in the background right there. Scott Pilgrim sat here. Now, surprisingly, for a movie that takes place in the hipster world of Toronto, not a lot was shot here at Queen and Bathurst, which is hipster central. However, there used to be a club here called the Big Bop back in the day. The Big Bop. Big B-O-P. Let's run. Oh, let's stop. Okay, forget it. I'll tell you now. And when they're having the clubs, so many clubs in Toronto where it's all based on real clubs, like the Rocket, that was on at 120 Church Street, I believe. Lee's Palace, like I just showed you. And then when they had the fight outside of Lee's Palace, they go into an alleyway. And they use the alleyway behind the Big Bob, which is no longer here. But they shot it on a soundstage, and they used green screens of the alleyway because of the stunts that they had to do. I'm going to show you what matches up from that green screen. I thought that was just, I don't know, that was really cool. Like really cool. This is the alleyway from the movie. So it would have been one of these doors that they pretended. I'm not sure exactly which one. It's all changed on the right-hand side here. But the way you can match it up is you see that in the background. That unique connection that connects the buildings. The connection that connects. Right there. But yeah, it was all shot on a soundstage. I believe at CineSpace. Made to look like this alleyway. Well, not made to look. It was this alleyway. They just had giant green screens around. That whole fight scene choreographed, shot. Sort of here, but not here. But here. See a lot of those in the movie. And we have a lot of those in Toronto. Yeah, so after he spots Ramona in the library, then they go to a fraternity house for a party. And that's up at U of T campus. Now, I've done Tommy Boy there. I've done a few other videos from the U of T campus. This is the house. This is how it looks now. I can't drive around U of T again. It's right here. They're walking up this street towards the fraternity house, and it's far away. They do a lot of walking in this movie. And like I say, like we're gonna walk to Casa Loma, walk here, walk here. They do a lot of walking. And most of it's close, but that fraternity house is far away. But in the background, well, let me show you. There used to be a flight center there. But if you notice, the L, oh yeah, it says fight center. That anticipates, that's foreshadowing a fight coming up. But they walk right up here, right past those archways, those stone archways. They used to be probably, yep, windows. This is a little street called Manning Street in Toronto, Queen and Manning. And have you noticed in your own city that there seems to be a lot of these lying around? If you see one, pick it up, put it on. Or throw it in the garbage. That's the better advice. All right, one last location coming up. Go Leafs. Can't believe I'm still saying that. And this is another location for the movie. That used to be the Rocket Club. A lot of punk bands are playing. I saw a lot of shows there. Everybody in Toronto has seen a lot of shows there. And it shows up briefly in the movie, and they recreated the interiors on its soundstage. So Gideon is the final ex that Scott has to battle. And after they leave, what was the name of the club? Knife Gate. Scott Pilgrim is confronted by Gideon here. Gideon wants to sign his band, but he also steals Ramona away. And it's right up against this wall. And you can tell, one way I could tell was, you can see that building twinkling off in the distance. Let me go close. Right there, the top of it. I'm gonna point right there. I hate to put my finger on a shot, that's what she said. But right there, you see that in the distance, those two buildings. And also, whoa, that's the distillery district. You can see the fence and the lights from the distillery district in the background of that whole shot when they're right there. And a TTC stop in the background. But right up against that building there. So right here, this is really cool. This intersection, this is where I'm gonna end the video now. But this intersection is used in so many movies. So many movies. This is now the Canary District. That used to be the Canary restaurant right there on the right. Okay? At the end, he's going into Gideon's Chaos Club. That was a set constructed right in the middle. Right there. See the buildings on the left and the right? They match up. And they would have built for us a little set right there. And they filmed the interiors at CineSpace. Oh, here we go. This is how it ends. See? Another one. We have buses too. if that impresses you. Come to Toronto. I'm telling you, there's fun things to do in Toronto.
In Toronto.
Yes. All right, from the Canary District. I just learned it's called the Canary District. I guess because a Canary restaurant used to be here. So let's name the whole district after an old restaurant. Well, the whole area. That's the distillery right there. My friend used to live in that building. Oh, yeah, no. Look, there's the bus. Okay. Right. I hope you enjoyed it. Watch Scott Pilgrim. It's really good. It's really good. They make movies in Toronto.
They make movies in Toronto?
They do. And bread makes you fat.
Bread makes you fat?
It does. I'm gonna have a sandwich. Peace.